All right. Good morning, everyone. This is Max Reiner here at NDE. Um, and this is our monthly advisor update meeting for districts. Yeah, like we usually do at the beginning, put where you're from and into the chat there so we know who's here. Alrighty. First thing, covering some new stuff in our COVID-19 guidance. First, I wanted to point out that the Launch Nebraska site, if you haven't seen it, has some very nice new guidance documents. So when you come to the Launch Nebraska site here, you just scroll down a little bit, and all of these are guidance documents put out by different teams in the department here. So, you know, there's CTE, early childhood, student attendance. I assume everyone on this call will want to read that one. Some other things as well. Some SPED one there. So if you weren't already aware, I would definitely recommend you go to launchne.com and check those out. Moving on, like we were hinting at the last couple of meetings, we did officially adopt the student digital equity fields. That's the term that there's a group of several Ed5 states that came together and put out the definition for these fields. So these are basically fields about students' internet access and their device access. So we're asking all the SIS vendors to support it, but districts are not required to submit these fields. But if your district is collecting that data, we would definitely love to see it. I think it would be helpful to us in informing some of our decisions too. So we are going to be adding that to the data elements document soon. We've got a couple of tweaks going out to that document soon, I believe. But I can show you here in the vendor documentation what the fields look like, in case you're wondering. So it'll be 5 different fields about the internet access, the type of internet access, performance about the internet, and then about the device they use, the computer they're using to connect from home, what kind of device, and do they have dedicated access to that device. Several vendors have already been working on this because they are working with other states that are, there's some states that are requiring these fields from everyone. So I know Infinite Campus and PowerSchool, we're already looking at it. So I just want to let you know that that is officially fields that are available to be published in 2021. Any questions so far on those pieces? I've got everyone muted, but you can unmute yourself if you want to ask a question.
Max, maybe you talked about this, but I was a little late joining. But that COVID piece that we collected in the spring.
Oh yeah.
If a student is home with COVID, do you want that marked for that, or is that just a school-wide incident marker, that crisis?
So far, it's really just been used school-wide. Okay. So that is, in case anyone's wondering, that's the student crisis event field, which was the more generic for any kind of crisis going on, which we had everyone implement last year.
Right.
For 2021, we haven't exactly decided how we're going to use it. If it's just going to be, well, most likely all students will be flagged with it again, since it's probably going to be affecting all students.
So it'll be a school-wide event, not for an individual student.
No,
Okay.
it wasn't really meant to be like that. Looking to track medical information about students for sure. We don't want to do that.
They just wondered if they're absent because of COVID, if they should delineate that somehow. If they're, and I just referred them to that document you showed. So.
Yeah, no, we're not collecting that specific level of data.
Okay.
So yeah, and presumably then we'll keep using that field the same way this year. But unless we come up with a new way to use it, I guess I'll put it that way. But we haven't really discussed it much yet. But we are hoping to, the other field that I covered in last month's meeting, where you can now mark your instructional days as in the classroom, remote only, or a mix of in classroom and remote. We are definitely hoping everyone is filling that data in correctly in their calendars this year. All right, moving on.
Sorry. Remote. I'm sorry, I have a question about that field. So
sure.
If they're remote learning, can that be applied just to the student? Because there are students that are opting to remote learn, but it's not school-wide. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, we kind of wanted to keep that one simple, so it's collected at the calendar level, and we're not really you could set up a calendar just for that individual student and mark them as remote only, but we don't really expect people are doing that.
Yeah, I don't think they would even have enough tracks to.
Yeah, other than there's a few bigger districts that I know are just creating entire virtual schools, in that they're going to put all their remote only kids into those virtual schools. But
okay.
That is up to the district if they wanted to set that up.
Hi, this is Jill. You would also have the option of either setting up a remote calendar and an in-person calendar and putting your kids appropriately in them, or using the mixed, if you have some kids in remote and some kids in person based upon family choice.
Yeah, that's sort of what's happening, I think, in some of my smaller districts. It's a choice. So
yeah,
they have a remote. I see what you're saying. They would have a remote calendar and an in-building calendar.
That's one option. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and you would only need one extra track per.
Right. That would need
per each building to do that. So that could work too.
That could work. Okay. Thank you.
Ready. So in regards to the new version of Advisor, it is available. We opened it up on August 1st. So we are ready to accept data from certified vendors. I haven't really looked yet. I don't know if anyone's sending data yet. I imagine some are, because we do have some certified vendors. But keep in mind, the 1920 data is still also open to accept changes. So, and once again, we will be using, in this case, the 1920 data for our follow-up collection that closes out in November 1st. So just like last year, we hope everyone keeps their prior year data in order. It doesn't delete stuff or get a bunch of weird stuff in there. We haven't seen any big issues like that yet, so I think we're doing okay. But just a reminder, in the follow-up collection this fall, we'll be doing, enrollment changes, graduation exits, SPED changes, as well as all of your course data from 1920. So just keep that in mind, that you will be submitting 2 years of data. And at this point, the 18-19 data is totally done, I believe. So if you wanted, you could shut off your 18-19 data. And yeah, just a reminder, the certification results are going out here, including the tests. So if you're curious about what's going on with the vendors, you can check there. I'll cover all their statuses down below. Let's see, the Advisor Validation website. The newest thing that's gone out is the GCAT report. So when you are in the student reports and you click into the graduation cohort reports, you will see that graduation cohort analysis tool. We've made a few fixes there. It's in pretty good shape though. So here's what we're working on with validation. You may notice that even though Advisor is open for 2021 data, we haven't added 2021 to the menu to let you see that in validation yet, because we're still working on upgrading all the errors and reports for the new school year. So I'm predicting before the end of this month, we will activate 2021 and all the errors and reports. We're also still working on getting the CRDC report ready. That should be added to the site in the near future. Person ID, just a reminder that 2021 is now active. I believe if you have new students that you need to get into for your direct certification for food programs, Person ID would accept your data now as well, especially if your SIS vendor isn't certified to send advisor data yet. So, and just like every year, we hope everyone updates all their students in Person ID in the fall. So I would encourage everyone to do that. Also, we are actively, or I'm personally actively working on rewriting the processing of the file uploads to go faster. So that's what I'm literally working on this week. Any question about all the advisor updates? Yeah, things are running pretty like normal, pretty smoothly compared to last year. So generally this is kind of, yeah, the cadence of when things will get ready each year in the future, I imagine. Just to update about the new advisor dashboard. So yeah, some of you did get in there and help test. There were a couple of login related, user access bugs, and those have been fixed. However, the dashboard's now been rolled over, so it's loading 2021 data nightly. So a lot of you aren't able to send that 2021 data yet. So to get into the dashboard, you may need to wait until you're able to submit your 2021 data. The rest of these notes, same as before. There's the new Nebraska Cloud Portal where you go to access it. I should note that if you weren't aware, there is a report in Advisor Validation called the Staff Dashboard Access Report, and that report will tell you everyone in your district who has access to the dashboard, and if you have any problems with that would prevent you from logging in, that report also tells you about it. So we will, definitely encourage more testing of that once everyone's able to submit their fall data. All right, vendor status updates. Mostly about certification. So TestWiz should work exactly like the previous year. Nothing really affects them this year. EduPoint, the certification is in progress or starting on Friday, actually. But I've got the meeting with them scheduled. Edustar, their certification's nearly finished. They're just working out a few bugs to be conditionally certified. And that should be happening soon. Infinite Campus, JMC, Nebsys, which is formerly SIMS. All three of those are totally certified for 2021. Power School certification is in progress. We started this week. And most likely the updates for 2021 would be released in that usual, like last Thursday of the month window when they typically do releases. So roughly we're assuming by the end of August is when Power School would be ready to go. And SRS, they are close. They have a short certification test, but we should be starting with them pretty soon. I know, let's see here. I've seen a few vendor reps on here. If anyone wants to chime in, or I guess I see CIC on here. Maybe that's about it. Yeah, if you guys had any comments or questions, go ahead and let me know.
No, nothing to add at this time. Thanks.
Thank you, Michelle. All right. Yeah, that's really all that we have. Things are running pretty well. Next meeting is September 9th. So yeah, does anyone have any other questions, anything they want to cover or discuss for this week, this month?
When you talked about the remote learning you wanted to collect, is that in the data elements?
The one we have in the data elements document right now might be a little out of date. We've been, because it came out like in April, I think. So we are working on adding all these late additions to the data elements right now. Not exactly sure when we'll get that out, but it should be pretty soon.
Okay.
It's almost ready. I'd almost venture to say before the end of this week, you'll see it.
Okay, I was just, yeah.
Thanks, Naomi.
That'll show up in which field then? When the schools?
That is, so the remote learning piece, that is the calendar event descriptor.
So it'll be the calendar of, okay. Got
Yeah,
it.
that was where we used to, and it still does have like weather day, that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah,
We just added some new codes there.
I see. Okay.
Maurice was asking about the data exchange for Power School. I believe we've tested it out, and we're pretty sure that you will not be creating a new profile in Power School. You can still use your existing 1920 profile, and when you're ready, you will go into your profile setup and then just check the box to activate 2021 within the same profile.
This is Cheryl from Beatrice, and I have a question, and I'm not sure if I saw Michelle or somebody from Infinite Campus on here, but when you talked about the virtual and in-person learning on the calendar event, is that something that we will be told what that code should be, or are the vendors going to put those in for us based on, I wasn't sure if that's something we had to add or if the vendors were going to do that for us.
I think it pops in automatically. Well, Michelle or Rob, you guys can definitely answer, but basically all we did was where you already were able to set a code value for a day type. Like we used to have an 01 instructional day and like an 03 was weather day. Now we've just added two codes, 10 and 11.
And Cheryl, those will come in in the update. So
Okay.
those will be there for you, and then you can just assign them to whatever days you need them assigned to.
Okay, so that's coming. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Oh, is there, do you know of a date when the 2021 update is coming out for campus?
It is out. It's campus version 2032. So customers can request it whenever they want. I think probably most people have it. They may not have enabled 2021 yet, but yeah, it's available.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Any other questions?
I had some interruptions and didn't quite catch it was at the very beginning when you were talking about like people's internet access and stuff.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Are we supposed to survey all of our kids and then there's a place that we need to input this information about each family's internet access?
We are not requiring districts to do this. However, your SIS vendor should be setting up a place to input it.
Okay, so at this point, it's not something we have to do.
No.
Okay, thank you.
This is Joyce from OPS. Sorry, I had a question on those things for the calendar, whether the remote mixed or not remote.
Yeah.
Are those mandatory entries?
I would think so, yeah. I mean, you basically everyone is typically already sending the O1 instructional day field. So that one's repurposed as being in school. So essentially we are already getting it. We would love to get these from you guys though. And I know you've got some virtual remote schools, and I think all the calendar days in those would be set to 11. I'm not sure.
OPS, you're going full remote right now, right?
Yes. So you're seriously asking us to put a day event on every day?
Well, there should be already a day event on every day.
I'm not sure if it
No,
defaults.
it's just
for
that there's,
campus.
it's an instructional day or not.
Right, and right now there's 3 choices for instructional day instead of 1.
So Joyce, it would be you would add a multi-day event for those days on those calendars to indicate it's the remote, not just a regular instructional.
That's not good.
We will go over this in an Infinite Campus meeting, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
But
Sound-
realizing that school for us starts
right away.
Tuesday, which was already delay, we have to rework every single calendar.
And that's okay. If you haven't set up your 2021 connection yet, then nothing's sending yet anyway.
Right, but understanding that there's the volume of calendars we have, it's not realistic to just go in and copy this out later. It's to put day events on every single day of a calendar is like overwhelming. There's too many and they change. I've reworked calendars this year 4 times. And there's 250 calendars. Many of them can be pushed out based on like a master copy, but not really after school starts. So it's burdensome when we have to do a day event on every single day.
Okay, we can talk on focus group and see if maybe we can come up with a different solution. But right now, that's what Infinite Campus put for those 2 options, the split school and the remote.
Yeah, I believe I'll be there too at the Infinite Campus meeting. So yeah, I'm interested to see how that works, and because I'm not familiar.
So is split school and remote like in every other day, or like a rotation that you're all day in school, all day on remote? Or does that mean that part of the day is in person and part of the day is remote?
it could be part of the day, or it could be part of the students. Some students are in the class and some are remote.
But if it's a
Basically.
day event, it has to apply to at least a grade level.
Yeah. Just
Well, I don't
any,
think NDE is looking at gathering that split school and remote based on grade level. It's just for that entire calendar. There's some students that are remote and some students that aren't. I don't think, Max, you're not looking to know that 7th graders are remote and 8th graders aren't and 9th graders are.
no,
That kind, yeah.
that
Okay.
just happens. That just is due to how Infinite Campus happened to set up the calendar,
Right.
the different calendars and grade levels. So no, I mean, we're just really looking for it at more like a broad, you know, usually like a building level. I expect that's how most people will use it. But yeah, we can discuss the options more at the Infinite Campus meeting, which I believe is tomorrow. Or no, wait, next week, I mean.
Yep. Next Tuesday.
So I'm gonna put in my request now, you guys, calendars. We start creating calendars in November. Calendar changes are coming way too late.
And I mean, with COVID, the situation's changing now. There's really no way to handle it ahead of time.
I get that, Max, but every year we have a major calendar upset. So I'm just putting in that plug. I know COVID is a unique situation, but we really got to get the calendars under control sooner.
Here's a question about attendance. If you have somebody that has to be quarantined for 2 weeks, are we going to need to have a different attendance code to specify that the reason they were gone for 2 weeks was COVID related, or are you not interested? They're just medically absent.
Yeah, no, we just would collect that, assuming they're not, doing any school work.
If
we would
they're
just
isolated, but they're still doing schoolwork, you can just treat them like any other remote learner and they're in attendance when they're participating.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
And if you only have, like, if the school's in session and you have a few kids that have to remote isolate because of exposure, that
Right.
doesn't mean your entire school needs to be switched to split school or remote. That just means that, split school and remote. It just, you can still put that as instructional day in school.
Okay. That's
It's really intended for where the structure of the entire school is split, either like a 3-2 day or some kids remote, some kids in person.
okay. Thank you. We're a small district and
Yeah.
thank you. All right.
We were thinking of creating, if they are remoting for, like, say they had to quarantine or whatever, of creating a attendance code called COVID remote or something like that. That's like an exempt code or something, just so we could track it. Is that something that will have to be tracked and sent, or is that a good idea or necessary, or what?
If you want it for your own stuff, you can, but it would be mapped to the regular in-person code if they're attending and absence code if they are not participating. We are not collecting that.
Okay,
And
but
we didn't make any changes to our absence codes.
okay, so
those
if they are isolating and at home, they're not necessarily ill, but they're just gone, and we're assuming they're remote learning, but maybe not, I don't know. So we weren't sure how to handle that. So
Yeah, it's up to the district how they're going to determine attendance for students who are in remote learning, even if it's just 1 or 2 kids. I think some of them are probably going to make the decision that as long as the schoolwork's getting done, they'll count them as attended. Obviously, if there's a Zoom option, you can tell whether or not the kids are Zooming in during those times.
right.
But you're going to have to make your decision locally. We're not telling you how to do
It's not a
that.
state mandate. Okay, thank you.
Alrighty, anyone else? Okay, I think we'll call it for this month. See everyone again September 9th. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Max.